Hi everyone, welcome back. Today is going to be my favorite kind of video, a try on makeup haul. I have accumulated quite a bit of new makeup and I just wanted to try it all out for you today. So that's what we're going to be doing. I have tons of new things and I'm so excited to share them with you. If you're new here, my name is Blair. I do all kinds of beauty and makeup content here on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I hope you will stick around and subscribe to my channel. Let's go ahead and get into the video. We're gonna get started. I have tons of new makeup to try out today. And the first thing I wanted to do is try this from Dior. So this is the Dior Addict Lip Maximizer Serum. I kind of went back and forth on this and finally decided to buy it and try it out because the Dior glosses, the Lip Maximizer glosses, those are like my favorite lip glosses of all time. So I was just really curious to try this. So I figured we'll put it on before we do our makeup and see how it looks or how it is. Oh, it's like, that's interesting. It's like a really thin, like cream almost. Interesting. I was expecting it to be like a thicker, glossy kind of feel, but it's very thin. It almost feels like a lotion. It doesn't have much of a smell. It has a little bit, but nothing really crazy. Interesting. It's not really stinging or anything so far. So we'll see if anything changes with my lips throughout this video. What does this say? It just says extreme hydration and volume effect. Instant and long-term day and night. We will see. Feels good. All right, so first what we will use, I have it all laid out right here. Let's do the new Bobbi Brown Corrector stick. I mentioned that I was gonna buy this in a few videos and I finally got it. So they just came out with these. They're really cute little sticks like this. And I assume I have used this once. I used it for an Instagram video. And it does seem that the color is the same. So this is the shade Bisque. If you don't know, I love the Bobbi Brown correctors, the one that are in the little compacts. I use that all the time. So I don't know if these are replacing those or if they just are gonna have two options for correctors now. I don't really know. I hope they're not replacing the compacts because I do love those. But let's go ahead and use this today. And again, this is the shade Bisque. So if you're not familiar, Bobbi Brown correctors kind of come in two different tones. They come in Bisque shades, which is what this is, and that's more for purple, blue, or red discoloration under your eyes. So you can see mine is mainly blue and purple. The Bisque shades are going to correct that. Also a little bit of red. The Bisque will work for that as well, but they also have peach shades, which correct more of that green, brown, kind of like that just dingy, kind of murky look under your eyes. So that's how you can kind of determine what shade you need. And then there's different degrees of the pigment. So there's like extra light Bisque, Bisque, medium Bisque, and so on. And same for the peach, just in case you were wondering. So I'm gonna apply, I kind of like that this is a stick. I love the pot corrector, but I do like the option of having just a stick that you can like draw on where you want it. I'm actually just gonna kind of tap this in with my finger, even though my nails are so long. My nails grow so fast, it's crazy. But I have like a love-hate relationship with my long nails. I love how they look, but then they kind of get in my way when I'm doing makeup because I can't like get under my eyes sometimes because my nails are so long. I think it's time to cut them off because they're starting to really get on my nerves. I almost feel like the stick version is, the color is definitely the same, but I feel like the consistency on this is like a little bit thinner or something. I feel like the consistency is just like a tiny bit different. I'm just adding a little bit more right in this inner corner, and I'm just gonna kind of tap it in. But you can see like that bisque color for my dark under eyes is like the perfect color. So if you're similar skin tone to me, I know a lot of you have tried or have wanted to try this Bobbi Brown corrector. You might like Bisque. If your darkness is like bluish or purple, and if it's more green brown, then I would go with peach or a peach shade. All right, for foundation, I did buy the new Kosas Revealer Skin-Improving Foundation with SPF 25. I was thinking, I couldn't decide if I was gonna buy this, but then I decided to, since I honestly love Kosas. I love the brand. I think they make really great products. So I am gonna try this. And this is supposed to be a medium coverage. I wanna say it came in like 34 shades, 36 maybe, and I think it retails for $42. I did get the shade 170. It's light, neutral, warm, light with peachy golden undertones. I will say when I was looking online at the swatches, I feel like this foundation definitely runs yellow, which is interesting because I think the same thing about the Revealer concealer from them. I feel like a lot of the shades run pretty yellow, but we will see. Hopefully this will work. I do really love the packaging on this. It just looks like a really large version of the concealer, but I really like it. And this, let's see, it has lots of skincare in it. Hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, peptides, squalane, arnica, caffeine, and artemisia flower. And it's 7.5% zinc oxide, so it's mineral sunscreen. All right, so I'm gonna take, okay. One pump is a good bit. That's one pump. Okay, so the consistency of this is, I would say, kind of in between the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin and the NARS. I'm gonna probably be comparing this to those foundations a lot in this video just because I've tried those recently and I just kind of have them fresh in my mind. So I feel like it's thinner than the Charlotte Tilbury, but it's definitely a little bit thicker than the NARS. And I still have a good bit left on the back of my hand. Ooh, okay, so it blends in really, really easily. It almost kind of feels like a serum texture when you blend it in, which makes sense since it has all that skincare in it. But yeah, it kind of feels like a serum, like in a good way. It feels nice. Okay, the shade is definitely a little bit yellow for me, but it's okay. I feel like this will be a better match for me, like in the spring and summer. But it's not bad. Okay, so that is just that one layer of product. I still have a bunch left on my hand. Finish is super pretty. I would say it's kind of a natural, I feel like it's a little more dewy than the NARS foundation, but definitely not as dewy as the Charlotte Tilbury. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit more and see how buildable it is. I will say, I feel like with this one, you get more coverage like right off the bat than you do with the NARS foundation. With NARS, you can definitely build it up, but this one seems to give you more coverage initially than the NARS does. Okay, so here is one pump of the foundation. I do think one pump to me is plenty. I feel like if you use more than one pump, it would be a lot. Because it just dispenses a lot of products with just one pump. So keep that in mind. I feel like this is very pretty. I think definitely a medium coverage. It looks a little bit dewier than I thought it was going to be, but not like anything crazy. I do have a kind of dewy SPF on underneath it as well. But it's pretty. I like it. I think the color is slightly yellow, but I kind of figured that when I looked at the colors, they all looked a bit yellowy to me. But so far, I do like how it looks. I think it looks pretty. So next we have a new concealer, and this I'm really excited about. I've never tried anything from this brand, and it's LYS, the Triple Fix Full Coverage Brightening Concealer. And with this one, I believe this is more, yeah, neutral. I got the shade LN6. So this is supposed to have, a lot of things. Hyaluronic acid, turmeric, ashwagandha, squalene, and watermelon extract. Interesting. Oh, I like the packaging of this. It's cute. It's the same triangular shaped packaging as their foundation. I have never tried anything from this brand, like I said, so I'm not really sure what to expect. Okay, the doe foot is really tiny on it. See how tiny? I feel like this color is going to be good though, so let's see. Ooh. Wow. The formula feels like really good. It feels also kind of like a serum. Feels really thin and light. Feels really, really thin and lightweight. And it feels really good and hydrating. Okay, I'm gonna use my Sigma FO3 to blend this in. Oh yeah, this color is good for sure. Okay, yeah, that blended in so easily. Wow. That's nice. Do you see how easily this is spreading? You know what this reminds me of? Kind of reminds me of if you ever used the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Serum Concealer. Do you know which one I'm talking about? They discontinued it and replaced it with the new Bare Minerals concealer. But they had a concealer that was more of a serum-y texture. I think it was called Bare Skin. That's what this reminds me of. Okay, color is definitely good. Ooh, it looks nice under my eyes, actually. Looks very, very hydrating. Ooh, yeah, I like this so far. I do not think this is full coverage, though. They call this full coverage. I feel like this is definitely a solid medium coverage. I mean, the coverage is good, but I definitely wouldn't say this is full coverage. Let's just add a little bit in the center here and see what happens. If you're new here, this brush is my favorite concealer brush ever, and it's not even a concealer brush, it's for highlighter. But it's the Sigma FO3, but it's the perfect brush for under your eyes. Okay, yeah, definitely built up coverage slightly. I still don't think it's a full coverage though. I think it's a solid medium coverage. Usually concealers that are that serum-y texture, they're not typically full coverage. I would say medium coverage is pretty typical, and I do think this looks more on the medium side. But I do like it. It looks pretty so far. It is pretty hydrated looking though, so I'll be interested to see how this does after it's been on my skin for a little bit. But so far, I like how it looks on camera. So we were in Florida a few weeks ago. I had mentioned we went to Disney and we went to some of the outlets that they have in Florida, and we went to the cosmetics company store, which if you're not familiar, it's basically an outlet store that has all different Estee Lauder owned makeup brands, and they just carry back stock, from what I understand, just things that they have extras of. They send them to these stores and it's usually discounted. And the store that we went to in Orlando had so much stuff. They had a bunch of La Mer products. So I got this. This is the La Mer Sheer Pressed Powder. I've always wanted to try this because one of my favorite makeup artists on Instagram, Melissa Herkman, she is always raving about this powder, and it's very expensive though. It retails for $100. Yes, $100. So I never got it, but they had them at the cosmetics company store we were at, and they were, I think they were 60% off. So it ended up being $40 instead, which is still a lot for a powder, but I could handle trying it for $40, not so much $100. Okay, so this is what it looks like. This is my first La Mer product ever, so I'm very excited. And this is the shade Light. So I think they had a translucent, light, medium, and deep, I think were the 4 shades that they had. So here is what it looks like. Melissa says this is a great like touch-up powder throughout the day if you get oily or things like that. That's what she likes to use it for. But we're just gonna use it to lightly set my face today. Wow, it's very, very velvety feeling. Kind of feels like the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Powder. So I'm gonna start by applying a little bit of this. And down the sides of my face. And just kind of tapping it. I didn't apply much. Okay, I don't know if you could see that on camera, but that definitely blurred pores right here in this area, because this is really the only place on my face that I ever notice any pores with makeup. I don't know if you're gonna even be able to see it on camera. This side has no powder. This side has it right here. Yeah, this side definitely looks more blurred, which it should, considering this powder is very expensive. Okay, maybe I should turn my, maybe you can see a little bit better if I turn the light down one. Okay. Do you see that? Was it just me? I feel like it definitely just toned down any bit of pores I had there. Wow. Where is my mirror? Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't know if that translated on camera, but I'm not kidding. I saw like a noticeable difference right here in this area when I used that. Wow. I'm gonna take just a bit on my forehead, just like right in the center. Okay, that definitely made a big difference in how my skin looks. I don't know if it came off on camera, but it really did for sure. Wow. Hopefully I don't fall in love with this $100 powder. But if you have a CCO near you, it's worth checking out because they get just, you have to kind of go repeatedly and just see what they have because they all get different things. Like the store in Orlando had stuff that ones here in North Carolina do not get. So you just kind of have to go and check. Anyway, very impressed with that so far. I'm excited about that. I wonder if I should try putting some under my eyes maybe, or if I should just like leave it. I'm gonna leave it for now. Maybe at the end I'll add a little bit of powder under my eyes, but I kind of want to see what that concealer does. Okay, moving on. I did get a new bronzer and honestly had no intention of buying this. I've never really been tempted by this product until I went to this Sephora and they had it in person. And yeah, I fell for it. So I got the Gucci bronzer. This was like all over YouTube at one point when it came out. I don't think it's been out that long. Maybe like a year, maybe a little less than a year. But I mean, look at, come on. It's in this pretty like blush pink packaging. And I mean, and no, packaging is not everything, but I have to admit, I'm a sucker for pretty packaging. I don't know. I love that kind of stuff. But this is what it looks like. I got shade number 2. Which is supposed to be light, but it looks pretty pigmented. That's it there. Really pretty. It has a little bit of shimmer in it, like really, really fine shimmer. It also has a smell. Kind of reminds me of the Dior bronzer. What is it with really high-end makeup companies putting all this fragrance in everything? I just don't get it. But I guess most people like fragrance, but I feel like you don't need fragrance in your bronzer, you know? Okay. Very pretty. Okay, this bronzer is very pigmented. I will say that it's, this is the light color and it's definitely shows up a lot on me. So I probably could have worn the fair color. The reason I didn't get fair was the fair looked like, it just looked too fair. Like it wouldn't do a whole lot. I don't know. But I do like the tone of this. I think this is really pretty, especially for like summertime. And it blended very beautifully, but it is pretty pigmented. And I'm also using the BK Beauty 104 brush to apply it. Okay, yeah, very pretty. Definitely have to be a little light-handed with it though. I don't love that. I like the smell, but I wish they didn't put the smell in there, but it does look pretty. I like it. Okay, next. Okay, this is probably one of the things I'm most excited about, and if you watch my videos on the regular, you will not be surprised, but Patrick Ta came out with some new blushes, and well, actually, he came out with 4 colors in his blushes, which I have the blush palette from Holiday this last year, and then I have 3 of his 4 singles that he had before. Well, now he has 4 new ones. 3 of the 4 are the 3 from the Holiday palette, which I already had. And then this is the new color, and it's called Just Blushing. And you guys, look at this. It's like a beigey pink. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Let me swatch this for you. I mean, look at the powder by itself. I mean, is that not the prettiest beigey, rosy nude? Oh my gosh. I cannot wait to try this. And then the cream is there. I mean, come on. So good. So good. These are phenomenal. If you have not gotten one of these blushes from him, you are missing out. I'm telling you, they're so, so good. And they're actually made to be worn either powder with cream on top or cream and then powder on top. So today I think I'm gonna do powder first, and then we'll tap a little bit of the cream on over it. But that is one thing I love about his blushes, is you can wear them any way you want. I mean, that color. And I'm using the Flower Beauty blush brush. That color, stunning, stunning. This is, I'm trying to think. It's kind of like She's So LA, if you know that one. It's the very bronzy one, but this one has more of that rosy, bronzy, beigey tone to it. It's so pretty. Okay, and for the cream on top, I think I might just take my foundation brush and just kind of tap it. Oh my gosh. I really like adding the cream back over the powder because it kind of brings back the skin finish, like that dewy, natural, like glowy finish. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I'm gonna take a little bit on my nose. I know not everyone likes blush on the nose, but I do. Let's see here. I'm gonna take a sponge and just kind of lightly bounce over everything. Okay, now one more thing I want to do quickly is, where's my brush? I'm gonna take a little bit more of the La Mer powder, and I'm gonna take just a little bit underneath my blush and bronzer. This is something I've been doing recently, and I just really like how it looks. I feel like it just kind of polishes up underneath it, makes it look a little more crisp. I don't know, but I like it. Okay, I went ahead and filled in my eyebrows because I don't have any new brow products, but now we'll move on to the eyes. And the first thing that I got is also from the cosmetics company store, and it's from Tom Ford. It's the Emotionproof eyeshadow, so it's one of the cream eyeshadows. This one is in the shade number 3, Naked Eye, and I just thought this was the prettiest, like beigey, kind of just a nude cream shadow. I don't have many matte cream shadows. I have a bunch with shimmer in them, but I don't have many mattes. So I thought that was kind of pretty. It's really light, that's it there. But I thought it might be pretty as like an all over eye color, or today I'm just gonna use it like as an eye base. So let me get my brush. I'm just gonna use this Real Techniques brush. And I'm just gonna kind of apply this all over. But I thought this might be kind of a good thing to have, just to apply all over my eye as like a one and done eyeshadow. Because it kind of goes with the natural color I have on my eyelids. See how my eyelid already has a good bit of color to it? This just kind of evens it out, but it's kind of the same tone. Ooh, yeah, that's nice. I like that a lot. I've never really seen anyone talk about these from Tom Ford, these eyeshadow bases. I'm not sure if they're still being sold or if they're discontinued and that's why they were there. I'm not sure. But super creamy. Kind of reminds me of the MAC Paint Pot in Painterly, but this one is a little bit more, I don't know, it's a little bit thinner, more of a gel consistency. I like this so far though. Okay. And okay, for the eyes, this was a very bougie purchase, but I've wanted this particular eye quad for a long time, and of course they had it at the Disney Sephora, so I bought it. It's the Tom Ford eye quad in Honeymoon, and I was so disappointed because the cosmetics company store that we went to had a bunch of Tom Ford and they had a bunch of the quads. But of course they didn't have the one that I wanted, which was Honeymoon. If you can find them at the cosmetics company store, get it there because usually they're like 50% off. So the colors on this Honeymoon palette, I mean, are so pretty. So you get like a light gold, a bronze, a dark purple, and then kind of like this reddish garnet color. But I saw Katie Fawn using this on YouTube. She was using this palette in these colors, and I just loved how it looked on her eyes. So I just had to have it. Just had to have it. So we're gonna use this today. I think I'm first gonna go into the bronzy color, which is right here. And I'm gonna use like a bigger crease brush and just apply this in the crease and kind of bring it down a little. I think Tom Ford just came out with some new eyeshadow quads. They're like, I don't know if they're cream eyeshadows or if they're like a cream to powder formula, but I saw them, I think I saw them on Sephora's website, I don't know. But I have a few of these quads and they are really nice. They're very expensive, but they're nice. They blend really, really well. I'm dying to use this like, kind of like a cranberry color. So I'm gonna use my BK Beauty 202. It's my little tapered brush. And I'm gonna apply this out here. This quad I thought would be really good if you have like green or hazel eyes. These like purpley tones really bring out greens. Okay, and then I am gonna take the lightest, this is just like a really light champagne-y gold color. So it's very metallic and wet looking. A little bit more. I'm gonna put this on the center of the lid and then kind of bring it in. Add just a little more to the center. I'm trying to decide, I really want to use the darker color too. It's like this dark plum. Okay, I kind of want to do the trick where I hold something in the wing shape and just kind of lightly make the wing with that purple color. I have this little card here. So I'm just gonna put it here, kind of line it up from my bottom lash line out. And I'm just gonna lightly apply that purple with a MAC 217. Look how perfectly that works. Every time I do this trick, I'm like shocked. It just gives you like the perfect wing shape. I love it. It's another easy way to do a wing if you don't want to do it with actual eyeliner. It's a really good trick. Last, we're gonna move on to the lips, and I have quite a few lip products, but I only have one lip liner. I got one of the new Anastasia lip liners in the shade Hazelnut. I've actually never really tried many lip products from Anastasia, so I kind of wanted to try the lip pencil. So these are the new, they have a name? No, just lip liner. This is the shade Hazelnut. It's just a really pretty, deeper nude. That's it there. Kind of just a traditional wooden lip liner, kind of like MAC. Does anyone think my lips look any different? I feel like maybe they definitely feel like very smooth, like to the touch, almost like I just exfoliated them or something, but I don't really see any plumping or anything. I don't know. I'm gonna have to keep using that Dior stuff. This color is nice. Kind of reminds me of MAC stripped down. It's a pretty dry formula. Definitely reminds me of MAC lip liners. And okay, for the lips, so I got one of the new Patrick Ta lip plumpers, which I really want to try, but then I also got two of the Makeup by Mario Moisture Glow Plumping Lip Serums. I got both of them in Florida. One of them, I went to the Sephora one day. They had this one, which is Apricot Glow. I have Bronze Glow. That was the first one that I got. This one is Apricot Glow, so it's a peach. Really pretty. But the one I really wanted was Bear Glow, which is the really light pink. And I ended up finding it a few days later when we were in Florida. So I kind of want to use this one. It's just a really, really light pink. So that is Bear Glow. So I really want to use the Bear Glow one. This is the one I was really wanting. Ooh, these two together, oh my gosh. If you haven't gotten one of these, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm obsessed with how these feel. They feel like a lip balm, a lip mask, and a lip serum all in one with a little bit of plumping and a little bit of color. It's like, I seriously want every color of these. They don't really have a smell, but they feel so good. Oh my gosh. Love that color. Again, that one is Bear Glow. It's just a light pink. Really, really pretty. I was gonna say I'll put a little bit of the Patrick Ta gloss on top, but I feel like I'm not gonna be able to tell anything about the gloss. It smells good. It smells like candy. Yeah, can't really tell much about it because I have that Makeup by Mario underneath, but it smells phenomenal. Yeah, I like that a lot too. Ooh, we found some good stuff. Okay, I want to look up close really quick. Okay, you guys, surprisingly, that concealer looks good. I feel like it doesn't need any powder. I mean, part of me kind of wants to put a little bit of that La Mer powder just to see, but it looks good. It's not settling weird as of right now, but hasn't been on for that long, but I just wanted to note that. And then let me spray with a little bit of my Charlotte spray. And that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing me try a bunch of new things. These are so much fun to film. I love to like accumulate a bunch of new things and save them to do these. Sometimes I like to do like individual videos on products, but then sometimes I like to just sit down and use a bunch of new stuff. It's so fun. So I hope you enjoyed. I wanted to kind of go through my thoughts on these products because we tried quite a few things. The Corrector is not super new to me because I love Bobbi Brown Corrector. I already knew that. But I do like the stick version that I'm really excited about. The foundation, you guys, looks really, really pretty. I definitely like how it looks better with that La Mer powder, I will say. I don't know what happened or what it did like in my T-zone area, but it made a really big difference. And I hate to say that because I really don't want that La Mer powder to be good, but first impression is that is quite a reaction for me to have to a powder. But it just, I don't know, something about it just kind of blurred things. It's crazy. So I'm excited about that. And the concealer, you guys, looks really, really good. Really, really good. I have no powder on and I have not like set or gone over my under eyes any at all since I applied it, which was like 30 minutes ago now, but it looks really good. I will be very curious to see how this lasts throughout today. So I will kind of write a summary of my thoughts on these things in the description when I post this video, because I'm going to wear these things a few more times before this video goes up. So I'll let you know in the comments, but so far, very impressed with the complexion products. The bronzer is beautiful. I don't know that I can tell you anybody really needs a Gucci bronzer, but it is pretty. It did not disappoint me. I think I'll get a lot of use out of it when the weather changes and it starts getting warmer, and I tend to go for more bronzy kind of looks during that time of year, but very pretty. The Patrick Ta blush is phenomenal, which I knew it would be. Those are probably my favorite blush in my whole collection are the Patrick Ta blushes. I love them. I'm also really excited about this Tom Ford eyeshadow. I will have to look into this. Like I said, I don't know if this has been discontinued and that's why it was at the cosmetics company store. I don't know, but I really love the color of this. I feel like I'm going to use this a ton, just like as an everyday all over eye color. But I'll look and see if I can find a link for this. And then these eyeshadows, you guys, I love the colors. I know Tom Ford shadows are super bougie and expensive, and typically I don't buy a ton of Tom Ford, but I don't know, something about the colors in here I just love so much. And I feel like you could do something a lot smokier than this. I didn't build up any of these colors a lot. I feel like this is a pretty subdued eye look, but I don't know. I just love this and I love how it turned out, especially with this eye base. I really like this combo. And the lips. The lip liner is beautiful. Love the color, but the standout product 100% to me is still this Makeup by Mario. If you don't have one of these and you like the lip products that I like lip balm, lip gloss, it's literally a hybrid between a gloss and a serum and a balm all in one with a little bit of color and just a little bit of that tingly feeling. I don't know, something about these I love. I am obsessed. I will use all of these. And I'm not kidding, I really want all the colors. That's how much I like them. The Patrick Ta gloss, I can't really tell much about, so I'll have to use that in another video. But I'm really excited about this stuff. So let me know in the comments your thoughts. If you've tried any of these things, let me know in the comments. Or if you want to try them, let us know in the comments. I will list and link everything for you as always. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new, I hope you'll subscribe. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here on YouTube, and I hope you'll go follow me over on Instagram at simply.blair. I'll see you next time. Remember, simply be you. Bye.